What's up, Golden Gamers? We are here for another episode of Life Advice with a very special guest, All Chat Esports 2saint. We asked you on YouTube, basically, and on the new brand new GG Melee Twitter account, which you should go and follow because it's new and it's got all kinds of exciting stuff on there. And Zeke runs it. Everyone loves Zeke. But we asked you basically to submit your life questions or life situations that you need advice on. I'm excited to. I think we had 2saint on Radio Melee, like pretty much probably over a year ago at this point. But it's just been cool, you know, seeing you at a bunch of majors. It's been cool. Kind of every time I watch you at the nightclub, always cheering for you. So it's cool to have you back on the GG Melee channel to talk about random stuff. I guess let's get into it, huh? I mean, I'm kind of excited to see what people are asking. I got a little bit of a sneak preview on some of the questions.
I didn't look at anything. I didn't look at anything, so it's gonna be a shock for me.
Blue Jay FTW. I just got punched in the face. What do I do next? That's funny because the we were both, you know, participants in Ludwig's smash boxing for you, chess boxing for me event. Damn, I mean, I would say it really depends on the context, right? Because like I got punched in the face in a boxing ring. That's like pretty normal, I would say. But if you got punched in the face at home, you know, that could be a bad situation.
Context matters here.
Context matters. Yeah.
Like,
I don't feel like I have enough context to answer the question.
What do you do next? Remember that you have no enemies. Walk away. Don't deal with it.
You know, people ask, what's the best martial art for winning a fight or whatever, right? If you get into a real fight, and the real answer is running. Right? It's track and field. Yeah.
It's the best one. Why are you fighting? Maybe you should just call the police.
All right. Well, next question, Blue Jay. Hopefully your situation works out for you. I don't know what's going on with you, but Yasumi, what was it like being on stage during Ludwig's Smashboxing event? What did the energy of the audience feel like? Oh, I'm gonna let you go first.
Oh man, incredible. So incredible. I feel like I had the best entrance of all time. I came out jumping out like Spider-Man. The adrenaline was for real, and like the energy, like just being the first person to come out, I feel like it was kind of almost up to me to like rile up the crowd. So I really like to bring up the energy of the audience. I felt like having a round 1 TKO though really like made the energy like diminish. As the first match, I was just like, oh no. Yeah,
there were a lot of round 1 TKOs. I got round 1 TKO'd, and
your
I
match
think
was
there were like 2 more. Yeah, I guess so. I would do something like that again, for sure. I mean, it was dope, kind of being in that kind of, you know, like venue and having that kind of energy, and like even so, you won, right? I lost my match, but even after I lost, like, you know, people were still like, it was still very positive. You know, people were like, yo, you know, props on doing it. You know, even if you don't win, it's like, at the end of the day, like, you know, it's surprising.
It felt like it didn't really matter win or lose, like, at all, to be honest. But like it felt like it mattered to us, which gave us like this really nervous feeling for me it was just a month, but I know for you it was like a few months of like just pure like anxiety. I'm not gonna lie, I was freaking out, dude. No other like Smash Major can compare to the amount of anxiety I had that whole time.
I agree. Hey, want to own a piece of GG history? We have partnered with All Chat Esports and Boric Technology to give away this custom Golden Guardians controller signed by every Golden Guardians Melee member, past and present. Click the link in the description below to learn how to enter. Oh man, this is a great question. How do you get a good daily routine going? I.e. working out, Melee, content, free time. I feel like I always lose steam after a few weeks.
That definitely just means that you've reached burnout and you should probably rest. If I'm being completely honest, if you're able to go a few weeks, dude, you can keep going. You just actually need a break. And I think maybe you need to foster a routine for how to gain your energy back. Because I think this is actually really funny, because I actually just wrote something down like a few days ago on how to get out of a slump. I too lose steam after a few weeks. Who doesn't, right? So you gotta like plan out how you're gonna get out of the slump. It's like with everything. It could be like resting and stuff like that, but I'll just like read one of my things out loud. So for number 1, I immediately play a motivational video on my phone. I just put it down. Like I put it down, and then I start doing the other things on the list, because I don't want to like doom scroll on Twitter or like TikTok for hours, because like you could just spend hours doing that and not feel any better. It won't do anything. Yeah. And then after that, like I'll spend 15 minutes cleaning, and I'll take a cold bath, face mask, brush your teeth. This is like something that you're gonna have to figure out about yourself, really, about like what do you do usually when you're like, you're down and out, but then like you just start getting up and you start doing things. Like what are those things that you you are doing.
The one tip I'm going to give for Trenton, and again, it kind of depends on you, like how you work, how you are as a person. The thing that helps me a lot with this sort of thing, I find it a lot easier to stick to any kind of routine if I feel like there's some kind of a commitment to someone else. When I was like working out, like just lifting, what's really helped me is I actually got a gym buddy, and I work out with them. Like, we work out on a very set schedule 3 or 4 times a week. When I was streaming a lot, the times that I was the most religious about streaming was when I was thinking of it as a commitment to my stream chat. So if I was like lacking motivation or something, like for me, I have like a stream Discord, so I'd like read, people would be saying things or whatever, and I know that those people, like, sometimes they'd be like, oh, when's Toph gonna stream again? And I would think of it as a commitment to them. So I think if you can structure the things you need to do as commitments to other people, for me, it's a lot harder to betray someone else's expectation to me than if it's just me. Because if it's only me that needs to do something, sometimes that lets me put it off. That gives me an excuse, So that's something you could try, is like find ways to incorporate, like making a commitment to somebody else. All right, next question. This is Hada from all chat, right?
Mm-hmm. So how do you value investing your time and money to a new interest versus investing more deeply into a current project?
I know that I get really into things. I get really, really into things once I start. And that's just kind of my personality type. And I kind of know that when I pick something up, I tend to stick with it I was talking to Bobby about this, Bobby Scar. Scar was saying, because we have a very different personality type on this one. He was saying he drops things. He'll start things and stop them. He'll pick a project up and kind of stop. And for me, I if anything, I'm in the opposite direction, where my problem is I stick to things for too long, even after I probably should be moving on and doing something else. I don't know. What do you think? I'll start with you.
I think this is definitely a time track problem. Like, you gotta actually like have a set, like, okay, I'm only gonna be doing this for 4 months. You don't make it in 4 months, you don't make it in 4 months, it's over.
Reevaluate.
Reevaluate. Reevaluate. Don't give up. If it's not working within your set time frame, you're not going to do it. Because I read this thing for saying that, like, humans, if you give them any amount of time, they'll usually like waste most of it, and then like at the end, like, they'll actually do the thing. As for money, I think money should only really be involved if you expect money in return. And on top of that, you probably don't need to be spending a lot of money to actually make any money out of like what you're trying to make money from.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of great advice out there when it comes to this sort of question, but I think what really helps is, I guess, visualization. Like, you want to know what you're working towards. So you should have like a 5-year, I'm just making up a number, but like, if you have a very vague picture of what you want your life or your set of projects or whatever to be like a year down the line and maybe 5 years down the line, and then just kind of using that every now and then to recalibrate. Maybe you want to lose a bunch of weight or something. So, you give yourself an idea where it's like, okay, this is what I want my general level of fitness to be like, let's say in a year or two. And it's okay. How do I make steps on a regular basis to work towards that? And like 2saint said, set time frames and basically kind of do like a check-in. If you haven't achieved that goal within that period of time, maybe you don't need to drop it entirely, but maybe reevaluate how you're doing.
Yeah.
Maybe
monitor how you tried. Yeah. Did you really try, or did you spend only 30 minutes a day? Did you spend an hour in it? Like, really monitor your time here, because time tracking here is very important.
All right, last question we got from Crump. It's Crump19. Mad respect to both of you for taking up the grind to get in the ring. Can you talk about how you maintain discipline to keep going when things got particularly rough or challenging? How do you keep your morale and ego in check? Dang, yeah, I mean, okay, like, we kind of talked about this a little bit already. I mean, I would say, again, to me, the commitment aspect was huge. Like, knowing that there was a deadline, like having the deadline of, I need to get this in shape, I need to lose this much weight before this date, or like, the event's not gonna happen. Knowing that there was a set deadline to do it, knowing that it was a commitment from me to Ludwig, like, all of those things, like, made it easy. This is why people say things like, I want to have a beach body for the summer. I want to have a summer body. Like, I feel like giving yourself a time frame. I want to cut, and this is my cutting cycle or my bulking cycle, and like timing it like that. That really, I think, helps people stick to there. You know what I mean?
For real. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Because when people say the beach body, I bet they're not even gonna go to the beach in the first place.
They're not even gonna. That's right. They're not gonna go to the beach.
Yeah,
they're
not
not
even care. Like. And that's why we cared about the rate, because we knew for a fact that we're gonna be there on that date, and we gotta perform. To keep your morale and ego in check, though, like, honestly, screw your ego. In my honest opinion, like, why is that like it shouldn't actually factor in at all if you have something you have to be doing. Like if you need to maintain discipline and you know it's going to be rough and you know it's going to be challenging, why is your ego even in play here? I guess if your ego's in play, it should be more like this. It should be more like, I know I can do this. Like, I know I can do this because I probably have done something harder before this. I like to check myself in a way like, yeah, I could do that because I've done something way harder in the past. Why can't I do this? So I move on from there. And like I use the boxing thing a lot now because it's like, yeah, I was waking up, dude, at like 9 in the morning to go drive an hour to, my friend's, boxing training facility. Wow. And I would be tired or like hungover or that's not feeling good in general.
Yeah.
And I'd go because I was like, yo, if I don't work out, I'm going to get my ass kicked. And I'm not going to like that. You should be motivated, but you got to find the ways to motivate yourself. And you got to be like, you can't be distracted. I think that's the real thing to say here is that you can't be distracted. You can't like try and find ways to wiggle out of what you need to be doing.
Right. Yeah. If anything, I think that's where the ego gets involved for some people. Maybe not for something like fitness, but I'm thinking of like, to kind of generalize this question a little bit. Like I can imagine, and I've seen this with a lot of Melee players actually, for Melee. People will kind of start slacking on, maybe they set a goal for themselves. They want to get really good and they're improving or whatever. And they're starting to go to their locals and they're actually starting to beat some people. But then I've seen where people, and I've had kind of spurts of this too, where like you kind of fool yourself into thinking, wait, man, like I'm pretty good. Like I don't, and you kind of like you slump on your practice regimen or whatever because you kind of feel like I don't know, how do I word this? Like I've seen it where people they stop practicing the right way. They stop having that beginner's mindset.
If I tried, I'd win.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And that's so bad for you.
Exactly. It's really bad. It's really bad for you. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big victim of this. I be walking into the local.
We all are.
Yeah, dude. Hacks money is definitely a big check for me there because it's like, damn, I can't do that anymore. I can't be thinking this way, or I'd lose. And even if I do practice and stuff, I'd still lose. And that could be like the double-edged sword to this is that like you could practice and then lose anyway. And then you're like, all right, I'm just not going to practice anymore. Fuck it. And you got to realize, these things shouldn't really be affecting you. You should be doing these type of things because this is what you want to do.
It's kind of like the work you're putting in. That doesn't, it's not at the tournament. Like, it's not like the make or break isn't the tournament itself. Like the make or break is the work you put in leading up to the tournament. On the day of the event, you just show up and you just do what you train to do, and whatever happens.
Yeah, exactly. Like the work ain't at the tournament itself. If the work's at the tournament, you're doing something wrong.
That and I feel like for the people that, and I say the people like it's not me, like me too. This happens to me all the time. Where if that ego crops up, that's when you tell yourself like. You say things like, I'm just gonna I'll make it happen. I'll make it happen at the turn, like whatever. Like I'll figure it out. I'm hella good. Like I'll just show up and I'll just beat people. And it's like, look, that might happen, but you also might get humbled real quick. So I think the tournament
that becomes not fun.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Then it's not a reward anymore. Then it's your retribution.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think keeping in mind, like, remember why you started doing it in the first place. Whatever it is, could be fitness, it could be Melee, it could be anything. Just like remember why you started doing it in the first place. Try to put yourself in the mindset of, when you were a beginner and that whole beginner's mindset. That's how you really improve and continue to improve. How was it? Is that about it? How was that, Luke, Zeke?
It was good. Y'all did great. I learned a lot. Like it?
I learned a lot too.
These are very.
I love talking to you. You're gonna have to send me some of those. You're gonna have to send me some of those motivational videos, man, on the phone.
Oh, I got you.